This is Leslie Axe. He is Executive Director of La Passerelle, and La Passerelle helps mature job seekers deal with the challenges that are out there. What are some of those challenges?
Well, for mature workers, when I say more and more, what we're seeing is mature workers come to our workshops and say, I've never even had to write a resume. It's coming, I haven't written a resume and I've never had to do an interview.
Really?
So, and they don't understand the process.
So it's right from the very beginning of the process.
Right, yeah. So typically what we see is our participants, or most people, what they do is they start applying. They start applying online, which is about the worst thing to do because, well, you should apply online, but you should have been doing many other things. Like you start applying online, and what we've seen in the process is that they'll apply online, and then they don't have any feedback. So they don't know why they're not getting called in, and then doubt starts to cast in. So you start having self-doubt, and they keep applying, and nobody's returning their calls, and they're wondering, well, how come? So the self-doubt starts to become more and more concrete. So what's happening is that you're alone, and you don't have any feedback, so you start thinking, well, maybe I don't have what it takes, and then maybe I am too old. But since there's nothing to stop the process, this just gets more and more concrete, people get discouraged and depressed. So and then I guess the next step is that, well, if I can't get this job, how about I go and apply for something that I'm overqualified for? And the same results, because if you're overqualified, people don't want to hire you because they'll start worrying why.
That sounds like it would be very discouraging and demoralizing for people.
Absolutely, and especially if there's no context, no feedback, and then there's that whole pride factor. So the mature workers, mature people, there's more sense of pride that I've seen, so they don't want to go out and get help. So usually it's at the last minute that they come and see us, which is almost too late. So
why would it be too late? Because psychologically they're defeated?
Well, financially.
Okay.
Financially, but also psychologically. When this starts taking root and you start losing your self-confidence, it's hard to look for a job. You have no self-confidence, and then by the time you get into an interview, it's even worse. Like, how do you project yourself when there's no self-confidence?
So what do you find is going wrong when they're sitting at home and sending out the applications and never hearing anything, getting no response?
We don't know the process, and if we understand what's going on, it makes it easier for us to say, oh, okay, that's what. Because when you're applying online, you're actually competing for a small percentage of the jobs. About 20 to 30% of jobs are posted. The rest are filled through references, through networking. So if you don't know this, most people are competing for a small percentage of the jobs. It's not even you, it's your resume. So your resume is competing against other resumes, and you don't realize that, so you don't get called back.
So now you're making it sound like that's an obvious step one, is to perfect the resume.
Work on the resume. I would say spend more time on your achievements than you spend on your responsibilities. Because a lot of times we'll see responsibilities like a page or two. It doesn't give context. How good are you? How well did you do this? What were your accomplishments? What was the value added? So spend time, go on your resume for every job, even all your professional and personal accomplishments. Say, what did I do well? What were my accomplishments? And that starts the process like, oh, that's true. I did all these things. So it starts to defeat this negative cycle. Talk to friends. Talk to past colleagues. Say, what did I do well? What did you appreciate about working with me? So you can inject that into your resume. Put a bit more personality, less technical. So that's starting the process.
Sounds like a good message for the people who are looking for jobs. Would you have a message for the employers out there?
Absolutely. I mean, don't dismiss mature workers. I mean, mature workers, a lot of times they say, oh, well, you know, they're older, and all the stereotypes of mature workers. They don't know technology. It's hard to teach them how to do new things. But I tell you, we see very motivated people in our workshop. And a lot of times in our workshops, what we'll have is they'll do a career transition. So now it's like they're starting something new, it's exciting, and the reality is if you haven't been working for a while, months or so, and you're a mature worker, there's a lot of motivation. You don't want to end up in that situation again, so you have an extremely motivated, talented pool. We have people that want to work, and they can't find jobs, so that's kind of why we're here. There's so many things to do. Network, talk to people, get out there. Don't be home alone. Emploi Québec has an entire network of service providers like ourselves. Go on the Emploi Québec website, find your local employment center, your CLE, try to talk to an agent, and have them refer you to an employment service provider. CEDEC, the Community Economic Development Employability Corporation, they have a mature workers initiative. They're trying to get the message out to employers that, look, these are the advantages of a diversified workforce. So there's advantages of having mature workers and the youth. Other employment service providers like Yes, Youth Employment Services, they tackle the same issues but for a younger group.
Yeah.
And then there's us.
Lapasserelle.ca. Leslie Axe is Executive Director. Thank you very much for speaking with us this morning.
Thanks, Richard.